Going on YouTube, Clover's here back with another Scarlet Violet video, and today we're going to be spotlighting Tsareena for the regulationG format. So, all hail the queen. Tsareena is back this time around to help out a very familiar restricted pairing that we once saw in Sword and Shield Series 10 in a non-Dynamax format, and that is Kyogre. Again, Tsareena being a niche Pokemon, it can come in, do its job well, so this way your own restricted Kyogre can begin to do its job well. Now, two Pokemon in particular that give Kyogre a lot of trouble are Rillaboom and Raging Bolt, right? Because one thing that these two Pokemon can do is they can click priority moves such as Grassy Glide, and then you also have Thunderclap, and then all of a sudden Kyogre can't really do the thing that it needs to do, which basically is Water Spout, right? So even if you have Tailwind Tornadus here, there's the Tornadus. So even if you have this, if you have priority moves against Kyogre, now the Water Spout is just not going to do damage. And then you can even KO it, with some of these super effective moves depending on the EV spreads, of course, right? And how much damage the Kyogre has taken. So one thing that Tsareena can do to help Kyogre is come in and take advantage of its ability, Queenly Majesty, which means you can't click your priority moves. So now the Rillaboom, Grassy Glide, and the Raging Bolt Thunderclap are now all of a sudden ineffective. And if you can catch your opponent in the right situation, then Kyogre can pretty much force these guys out of position and click its ice move, Ice Beam, and then, you just go from there. So Tsareena has really good synergy with Kyogre in this case. And then the rain that Kyogre can bring can also help reduce super effective fire damage against Tsareena, which again is really useful. Think about like Rillaboom and Amoongus on Kyogre rain teams. They also enjoy the rain for that same reason. And then at the same time, you also get access to Triple Axle, okay? And now the fact that you have an ice coverage move, now you can hit the Rillabooms for super effective damage. Now you can hit the Raging Bolts for super effective damage. And Tsareena with a base 120 attack stat, with access to Power Whip, is going to do a lot of damage as well, especially when people want to bring their own Rillabooms against you. Now you can get boosted Grassy Terrain Power Whips, which is actually really detrimental here. So, Tsareena has a lot going for it this time around. And then you also get access to something like Taunt. You also get access to Helping Hand. Helping Hand Water Spout is going to do a lot of damage, of course. And then, just like you can run Protect here. I think it's really solid to run Protect Tsareena. But the other thing that people are running now with Tsareena is also Wide Lens. So this way, accuracy increase for Power Whip and Triple Axle, very much appreciated because the common rule, if it's not 100%, it's 50%. Okay, and Wide Lens is going to help out a little bit with that. Triple Axle is essentially 100% accurate after the 1.1. And then Power Whip, it's not there yet, but it's close enough, 90+%. That's good enough for me. It's better than Heat Wave at least. So go figure from there. But this is the starting core, right? And what we're going to do is, if you wanted to, finish off this team and support it, we're going to look at some successful tournament teams that have been able to do that. But all in all, if you really wanted to use Tsareena in a regulationG format with uber restricted running around, the best pairing is going to be Kyogre without a doubt. Okay, so we'll take a look at some data from some of these tournaments, and then from there, we'll build our own squad with it and show you all of our EV spreads. Give it a little test run, so this way you too can also try out Tsareena. So let's look at the data. All right, so we're back on the Lab Mouse website, and we've been able to go into the filter and search for Tsareena teams, and these are the most successful ones to date. So let's take a look over here. So Shilian Tong, of course, and Andrew Ding and Justin Tang, they did a little bit of team building together for Indianapolis, and this is what they came up with, right? So let's take a look at Shilian's team. So basically, you have Tsareena, you have Kyogre, but instead of Tornadus, they've opted for Iron Jugulus as their Tailwind setter. Why? Because again, you now get also access to Snarl, and with Dark typing, great into the Calyrex Shadow Rider matchup. So this is what they're using for that. Booster Energy will allow it to outspeed it, of course, even without the Tailwind, which is also very convenient. Then you have the Urshifu Rapid Strike here, and it makes a lot of sense, right? Anytime you have like, Kyogre bringing out the rain along with something like Tornadus, or in this case, Iron Jugulus, Urshifu Rapid Strike is not far behind. It just does so much damage in the rain. Choice Scarf lets it outspeed things, along with, not needing to have Mystic Water for the loss of damage, because the rain is going to give you that anyway. Just like our Kyogre team, our rental with Kyogre and Arkeladin also has Urshifu Rapid Strike in that sense, right? It's like almost a given in terms of like running a Kyogre rain team. Then from here, you go with Incineroar. So this way you get your little Fire Water Grass card, you get Intimidate, you get Fake Out. And then, of course, Will-O-Wisp for the burn stuff on physical attackers that have the Clear Amulet set. that you can't intimidate immediately. And then Choice Specs Flutter Mane, gonna do a ton of damage, give you a little bit of speed control with Icy Wind. Makes a lot of sense. This is a really, really good and creative way of building a Kyogre team with Tsareena and Iron Jugulis, right? So I like this a lot. Then as we go down, we'll find some other stuff here from Mr. Pengy, Stefan Mott. He also has this idea with Tsareena and Kyogre, and along with the Urshifu Rapid Strike here. Now he's got Tornadus here instead of something like the Iron Jugulis. And his dark type is going to come from Chien-Pao here, just like what we did with our Keldon. We had, Chien-Pao, Urshifu with Kyogre and our Keldon. Then over here, Gholdengo comes, right, with Choice Specs, Make It Rain, doing a ton of damage. And, Gholdengo is one of those Pokemon that, of course, enjoys the rain, especially with Tornadus. You get Tailwind for Make It Rain. Then at the same time, you have, reduced fire damage in the rain, which is the same thing with Tsareena, right? So, grass types and steel types are good ideas to put on a rain team, just because you get the reduced super effective damage, right? And Gholdengo makes a lot of sense here, right? You can come out, lead with it, click Tailwind, click Make It Rain, do a bunch of damage, and then you can clean up in the end game with stuff like Kyogre or even Urshifu and Chien-Pao, right? You can even have some games where maybe even Kyogre doesn't even need to come, right? Just Tornadus, Urshifu, Chien-Pao, along with like a Gholdengo or Tsareena can actually just win you a lot of games. But, of course, Kyogre is a pretty solid restricted overall. But I do like this team. This also makes a lot of sense. Then as we scroll down here, then you can also do something like this, where you can go the double Genie route, right? You still have Kyogre, you still have Tornadus. Here's the Tsareena. Then you have Assault Vest Incineroar here, right? This is from Firebull. But then you also have Landorus here clicking Sandsphere Storm, right? And anytime when you have a Kyogre Tornadus team, you can also opt for the option of using Landorus. And Landorus is really good right now just because Miraidon has all of a sudden surged in terms of usage, right? Because of Indianapolis. So people are trying to prepare some ground types, and Landorus is a good option, for a ground type, especially against Miraidon, because you can't really hit it that well, because of your electric immunity. So makes a lot of sense here. And again, in the rain, Sandsphere Storm is 100% accurate. You've got Bleak Wind Storm, and you got Tailwind. But so this is another really, really cool team with Tsareena, and it makes a lot of sense. So we've shown you a couple of ideas, just in terms of, do you want an Iron Jugulis tech with it? Do you want Incineroar there? Either way, or even like Landorus, either way, you have some options in how you want to run this. You can even do the Arkeldon route, which is what we did. So let's look at Colin's team here. So he's got Tornadus, Kyogre, Arkeldon, and Urshifu Rapid Strike, just like what we had. But instead of Amoongus, right, he's opted for Tsareena here. And this is a pretty cool set. It's got Loaded Dice with Bullet Seed, Triple Axle, Helping Hand, and U-Turn. So you got a nice little pivot move here. And then, of course, Incineroar gives you, once again, that Fire, Water, Grass core that we saw previously, right? So lots of good ideas here with Tsareena. So, it's pretty standard in how you want to build it. Just maybe one or two flex options. But the idea here is, of course, you're going to add something like Urshifu Rapid Strike. It just makes sense. Okay, and then from here you have two choices. Okay, and we've shown you some options. Now we're gonna go ahead and pick ours, and then we're gonna EV it, so this way you can use it as well. And then we'll go give it a test run. All right, so for our remaining two slots, I've opted for Chien-Pao, just like we used last time in our rental. And then over here, let's close it out with something else. Let's go with Gholdengo here. I do like Gholdengo on a rain team like this. And it just makes sense overall, because now what you can do is go for that choice specs idea and just create a ton of pressure in the opening turns, and then let some of your other options like Urshifu or Chien-Pao or Kyogre clean up in the end game, right? So I do like this. So now how are we going to finish this? So basically, with Kyogre, I like the Assault Vest, believe it or not. You can technically also do like Mystic Water stuff, but I want to play the Kyogre a little bit slower, but also much more bulkier. Almost like the way maybe Shiliang and Justin and Andrew did it, right? Because I know the other Kyogres that we showed you ran Mystic Water, but I like the AV set. I think that was also pretty interesting because I end up liking the electric move, and I also end up liking the ice move overall because, things that resist water, right? Whether it be regular water stuff or even grass, now you're weak to the ice move if you go Terra Grass, and then if you go water yourself, now you're weak to electric move. So I do like that sense. So this way you have both options, and then this last one can just be Origin Pulse after you've taken a ton of damage, right? So then from here, Tsareena looks good. I do like Taunt and Protect. I think we don't necessarily need Helping Hand here. I think we have enough damage. Okay, I think Taunt is just a good supplementary move. Terra Water just makes sense, of course, you know, for resistance against the fire stuff, and then neutral against the flying weakness. Over here, Kyogre, I still like Terra Grass, of course. Again, resistance against grass moves, resistance against electric moves, gets you around Amoongus, so I do like that. Then Tornadus here, I think just either something like Rocky Helmet or Covert Cloak just makes sense. And then just Bleak Wind Storm, Tailwind, Rain Dance, that is not Tailwind, Rain Dance, and then Protect over here. Let me change this. Bleak Wind Storm, there's the Tailwind, right? Tailwind, there we go, finally. And then Urshifu over here, let's go Choice Scarf, right? We have the rain, we have the damage, now we need the speed, we need to outspeed Calyrex. So Surging Strikes, Close Combat, Aqua Jet, and then U-Turn is pretty standard. Again, over here, I still like Grass. Okay, Grass in the rain is good, by the way, because again, reduce damage against fire types. So, we forgot to do the Terra on the Tornadus, so I think Steel is also okay. Steel in the rain, just like Gholdengo, is going to be good. Chien-Pao here, straight Sash, you know, the standard stuff with Icicle Spinner, blow up terrain, you know, blow up Rillaboom terrain, blow up Miraidon terrain, blow up Indeedee terrain. So it's very valuable this time in Regulation G as opposed to something like Icicle Crash. Sucker Punch, Sacred Sword, and then Protect. Terra Ghost, very standard Chien-Pao here. You can even just straight EV this right now with just 252 stuff. I like Adamant Nature just because I have a Sash, I can get out more damage. Then the Gholdengo, Make It Rain choice specs, of course, without a doubt. Then you have Shadow Ball, your other single stab move, so this way you don't get walled by Wide Guard. I do like Dazzling Gleam, along with Terra Fairy as an option here. You know, just helps you against the dark weakness. And there's a lot more dark types this time, you know, just because they need something for the Calyrex, right? And Gholdengo, unfortunately, has to deal with that as well. But you got Terra Fairy, so you can, you know, deal with that. And, of course, Trick for the Trick Room shenanigans. And, again, Gholdengo, good as gold, gives you some Amoongus immunity in addition to with Tsareena and the Terra Grass stuff. So I like this a lot. I think this makes a lot of sense. I think we got all the Terra types down here, right? Yeah, okay. So now for Kyogre. So there's a couple things you can do with Kyogre in terms of an EV set. So you could just do it like this. First, I'm going to go modest here, but in terms of a speed tier, you just need this much to outspeed the Calyrex Shadow Rider under Tailwind. But I'm going to go a little bit faster. I'm going to go about 76 here. 120 benchmark for my speed stat. I think that's relatively safe. Then let's go to the second bump here. 156. All right. And again, if you're trying to play competitive Pokemon and you're trying to learn how to create EV spreads like this, make sure you comment in the video below asking what are EV bumps, because it's a very fundamental skill to understand, especially when you create EV spreads. Because it goes a long way in understanding where bumps and benchmarks are. So comment asking what are EV bumps and I will tell you and I will explain it to you. But after that, you max the HP, then you got 24 EVs left in, you know, to put into your bulk. And then you can just put 2 points here, right, into SPDF. So this way you get a nice even number for your Assault Vest. So this way you don't get a decimal, which would round down, right? So this is bad. This makes it round down. This is good, because you get an even number, right? And then after that, just 12 defense. That's all that's left for your Kyogre set. And again, you can tell it's going to do some good damage, enough damage, right, with the rain. And then at the same time, you're bulky. You have enough speed. You're slower than a timid ogre, but you have good solid bulk. And that's really important for something like Kyogre in a team like this. Tornadus here. I just want to go timid here, honestly. Timid to the point where I can outspeed other Kyogres. So 157 versus 156, right? So we're going to speed creep. And then from there, you know, just again, max HP, you know, 1 point here in the bulk. And honestly, no, let's go 1 point here in the special attack and then dump the rest here in defense, right? Let's be a super bulky Tornadus with something like Rocky Helmet over here. By the way, you can also go Covert Cloak, okay? If you want Covert Cloak, I think that also makes sense here. So this way you can, you know, avoid the fake out shenanigans, the speed drops, that kind of stuff. So if you want to put Covert Cloak here, I won't put it past you. You know, it's totally fine. The Urshifu, again, Choice Scarf, Adamant Nature. You must go max speed here. 149 is another key benchmark number. This is what's going to outspeed the Calyrex Shadow Rider, the timid ones. So, you know, yeah, after that, everything is negotiable. But the speed is non-negotiable. You must go max speed. All right, after that, let's let's go 156 here. And then after that, let's just dump the rest into our special defense there, you know, just for a little bit more bulk in that sense. All right, we already did Chien-Pao. Then over here, oh, actually, let's just go to Tsareena real quick. So Tsareena, where do we want to go with the speed? So we're going to go Adamant Nature, right? You know, by the way, Tsareena's going to do more damage with Chien-Pao on the team, by the way. But besides that, again, if you go 112 or even 113, that's enough, again, under Tailwind to outspeed a Shadow Rider. But with Pelipper so common now, and, you know, Pelipper going max speed, the last thing you want to have to deal with is hit with a 252 Hurricane from a Pelipper. So let's aim to outspeed Pelipper. So after that, I think just 118 is good enough. You max the attack, you put 1 point in the bulk, and then after that, you just put the rest into HP like this, right? And I think this is fair for Tsareena, you know, in this sense. You know, outspeed the speed creepers of 112, and then at the same time, outspeed Pelipper, and then you're kind of chilling from there. So we did that, and then I think the last one is Gholdengo. All right, so Gholdengo, again, same idea. You have a few options to take Gholdengo's EV spread direction, right? You can just, again, go like this, where you have enough speed to outspeed the Shadow Rider, and then from there, you can just go for bulk. Let's go something like this, right? You know, 187, but, you know, here's the bump, but then let's go 1 point more for the choice specs. And then after that, you can just split up your bulk like this, right? You know, just these are just leftover EVs. So you can definitely do this, and I think it's okay. Or you can go a little bit faster with your Gholdengo, right? And then take away a little bit of your bulk. So it's up to you how you want to do this, but if you want to bulk your Gholdengo set, you can definitely do something like this. I think it's okay. But I'm looking at Kyogre, I'm looking at Gholdengo. I kind of want my Gholdengo to outspeed my Kyogre. Go for a ton of Make It Rain damage, and then after that, follow up with something like Origin Pulse or Water Spout. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a little bit away. All right, we'll keep the attack as it is. Let's go 121 like this. And now we have 236 EVs left to play with. So from here, I honestly just want to max the attack. I think max special attack Gholdengo with specs is good. It almost one-shots a Calyrex Ice Rider. So, you know, that being said, I kind of would just do it like this, right? Or even just add 1 point here. So, you know, just leftover EVs at this point, but a ton of damage with the choice specs, enough speed, you know, to, you know, again, speed creep my Ogres, outspeed Pelipper's too, for that matter. And then after that, it's just leftover EVs into the HP. But again, I showed you a bulkier spread. So if you like that one a little bit more than this Gholdengo, so, you know, feel free to use that one instead. But I kind of like this team. I think there's a lot of tools here, you know, besides just, you know, click Tailwind and Water Spout. You have the Chien-Pao Urshifu option. You have Tornadus Gholdengo clicking stuff. So a lot of aggression. And then Kyogre is super bulky with the Assault Vest. And, you know, that's going to matter in certain games, of course. But again, Tsareena's just here to play the role against Rillabooms and Raging Bolts. So you definitely want to bring it in those matchups. After that, you know, the rest of the 5 is up for grabs, depending on matchups, all right? So from here, now what we're going to do, we're going to quickly test this and see how it does in some ladder games, and then get you guys out of here with the same pace. All right, perfect. So in this game, this is the Miraidon team going around. This is Rajan's Miraidon. So basically, you just want to create a ton of pressure here. There's no wide guard over here. All you have to do is just position the Kyogre properly against the Miraidon, and you kind of just go ham here. And this is where something like Chien-Pao and Urshifu is also going to help, because Chien-Pao Urshifu does a ton of damage into this matchup. First of all, you get to remove terrain, and then at the same time, there's a lot of things that's weak to the Urshifu overall. So I think just those 3 can really, really do the job here. So I'm just going to lead Chien-Pao. I'm going to lead Urshifu here. I'm going to force him to bring his Miraidon, and then whatever he wants to bring. So it's Flutter Mane. So I want to use the Urshifu. I want to attack the Flutter Mane right off the get-go. So this way you just immediately remove it off the board. Okay, and then from here, he's going for Volt Switch. He gets to Urshifu KO. It does a ton of damage. That's okay. I'm much more comfortable trading the Urshifu for the Flutter Mane. I think it's more important. Now we go for Ice Spinner. Deal some chip damage. Remove the terrain. Miraidon comes back in. Resets the terrain. But now we have Terra Grass Kyogre. And now this is where things get a little bit more interesting. He's going for Volt Switch. He's going to go into his last Mon. But little does he know that that Mon is not going to live, right? Here's Incineroar. That's not a great bring into this. So Ice Spinner, again, a little bit chip, but of course, it's just straight Water Spout. We outspeed everything. And now it's just Miraidon versus everything else we got. And he can't. Look how much he lost in like 2 turns, okay? He just lost to Kyogre with the Terra Grass Assault Vest kind of stuff. Like he did chip damage, but again, we just had all that pressure, all right, and Miraidon didn't have enough with it. All right, this guy has a very strange suboptimal team. He's got a Raichu over there. That is not a Miraidon answer. All right, I know I've seen some of that stuff on Twitter, but no, don't use Raichu. It's not the check to Miraidon. It's not enough. It doesn't do enough. All right, I'd rather have some other options to that. Okay. But he's got Solgaleo. I have not seen Solgaleo use this format. It's just not a great restricted. There's no Dynamax for it, unfortunately. So this guy's going to get the hurt real quick. And I do like Gholdengo in this matchup. It does a lot into bundle, you know, of course, Whimsicott. And then, you know, you have the Shadow Ball option into Solgaleo if you care. But, you know, he's got some dark types. But, you know, his dark types are fire types, which is not good because Kyogre is going to run through him, right? So I feel very safe, you know, with this lead here. You know, he goes Whimsicott and Iron Bundle. I'm just gonna go Gholdengo with Tailwind stuff, right? So again, he's gonna have the speed advantage because he's Whimsicott, but that's okay. So there's actually we outspent him. So he goes for Icy Wind. That's fine. We don't really care about that. At the time, I was going Rocky Helmet here instead of the Cobra Cloak. So here's Make It Rain. We just immediately delete the Iron Bundle and the Whimsicott gets brought to Sash, right? That's already a ton of damage and that's all I really needed. Here comes Chiyu to clean up, but that's fine. So he goes for Encore, which is punishing, right? But that's still fine. So everything drops here. That's okay. Because now what we can do is we can bring in Kyogre and we can bring in Tsareena, which again does well in the rain. It's not really going to care for the Chiyu. Let's go into Kyogre here, and then we're just going to melt things, right? He goes for Heat Wave. I probably should have protected Tsareena here, and I was running Helping Hand at this moment instead of something like Taunt. But again, Taunt has great value here because, like, look, I didn't need Helping Hand here to remove these options. But now he brings in his Raichu instead of his Solgaleo, and this is where the mistake happens. How do you not bring your restricted like this, and you bring a Raichu instead? So there's the Volt Switch. Not going to do anything to Terra Grass Kyogre. Now we just melt it with something simple as a straight water spout here. All right, one more here. So this is actually a game submitted to us by one of our viewers. It was built. This team was actually built during a coaching session, which is why I'm also doing this video today. And then at the same time, he sent me this and he wanted me to, like, you know, just critique his play a little bit. But he used it. He's going against Calyrex, Shadowrat, and then Wo-Chien. And again, I do like Wo-Chien on special attacking restricted just because it helps reduce, you know, physical damage, which is something that special attackers very much appreciate, right? He's got Instant and Iron Hand, so double fake out stuff. So Tsareena can have some good value here. And then he's got Urshifu and the Flutter Mane here. So something like maybe even Gholdengo could play a role here, but I don't think we necessarily need the Gholdengo. So let's just see how our viewer decides to play this out. So he's going to need Wo-Chien, and there is the Urshifu Rapid Strike. So that's very interesting. So here's Tornadus, here's Chien-Pao here. So pretty good aggression early on. You have Ice into Grass. So when Wo-Chien actually protects there, which means essentially a free Tailwind, right? But the Urshifu comes in, and he's going to go for the U-turn instead of something like a Surging Strike. So that's interesting. But he goes into Iron Hands here. Now he's going to go back into the Urshifu Rapid Strike. Tornadus going to go for Protect here. All right, Protect against, you know, the fake out stuff. You know, just to scout what he might try and do. But now he goes into Calyrex. That's very interesting. I think that was very costly. I don't know what you were doing there. But here's the Ice Spinner, and there is straight Bleak Wind. And that just removes the restricted right off the bat. So I don't know why our opponent did that over there. But again, more damage into Iron Hands because of Wild Charge. So that's interesting. So what restricted gone turn 2, very costly switch there. But now Tsareena can do a lot here. Okay, Helping Hand, all right, into Protect yet again. But this time he goes into Iron Hand, so good job reading to Protect. Doesn't quite KO because Wo-Chien's on the field, but that's fine. Because now next turn you have the same idea, right? Remove the Iron Hands, all right? And then Tsareena can go for Triple Axle here. Again, decent damage into Wo-Chien despite all things. Look at that damage. That's actually really, really good. There's the Citrus Berry block. Pollen Puff here does get to remove the Chien-Pao, but again, that's fine because guess who gets to come in now? Kyogre comes in. There's an Urshifu Rapid Strike. That's not enough. All right, so there's the Urshifu Terra Water. Here comes the Terra Grass Kyogre. You already know what's coming next. Surging Strikes is going to do some damage, but not enough damage because we had a decent amount of bulk on the Tsareena here. Ice Beam into Wo-Chien doesn't KO, but it does enough. And there's the Power Whip. So goodbye Urshifu. So now Kyogre can just do whatever it wants. This Snarl is not going to matter. Wo-Chien is so low, right? Because now all you can do is just simply click Water Spout. and the Wo-Chien just simply melts. So pretty good battle overall. But again, the value of Terra Grass Kyogre, and then you also got to see Tsareena, with the grass move. I'm sorry, with the ice move into the grass type there, which is again very, very valuable. On a Kyogre kind of team. All right, so one more time, here's the team. So give it a go. Let us know how you do. If you really like Tsareena, this is a pretty good, solid team to start with. And again, it's also a proven 6, based on the data that we showed you earlier from LabMouse. This is just our little take and our little rendition on it. All right. And again, if you're interested in coaching on the channel, make sure you sign up with Tier 3. If you look in the video description below, as well as the pinned comment section, there is a link to join the channel with Tier 3. And then from there, you're able to book a Discord session with me. And then we can get you a squad that you need for whatever purpose that you need it for, whether it be an upcoming regional like Los Angeles, or whether it be, just online ranked ladder play, or maybe you have a mid-season challenge or a premier challenge somewhere and you need a regulationG team, right? Or you need some help with it. So sign up for coaching. But yeah, that's it for now. We'll be back with another video in the next one. Peace out and have a good one.